All right, so welcome again to Military Guna TV. Thank you very much for joining me. And I have a particular topic that I want to touch on. It's regards to what Paul Hall said in a interview that he did. I'm going to show you guys the interview. I'm going to read some of the stuff that he said, and I find some of the things that he said quite intriguing. I really do find some of the things that he said very much intriguing. This video won't be a long one, possible 20 minutes, because I'm going to read out some of the stuff from the article. But before I get into that, I would really appreciate it if you guys smash that like button and also hit that subscribe button. Now, let me see. I'm gonna check. Okay, so as the guys come in, just please remember, guys, smash the like button, hit the subscribe button as we carry on with the show. So I'm going to show you guys an article that was done, and I'm going to show you what Paul Hull was saying. So everyone who's coming in, massive respect. Thank you very much for coming in, people. Really do appreciate it. Um, really do appreciate it. All right, so let's get to the meat of the matter in regards to what Paul Hall had said. I'm gonna read the article for you guys, so I won't waste most of you guys' time, because I know time is precious. Time is very precious, and some of you guys want to ensure that you get maximum time out of the day. So as you can see, the head of the article said, for 20 odd years we have been going nowhere. Hall, not worried up over winless start to tenure, looks towards development. Now, 20 odd years we have been going nowhere. Same cycle, recycle process going over and over again. And we have already discussed that on many occasions. Many different platforms have highlighted the rhetoric of how the Reggae Boyz have continuously have done the same thing over and over again and not reaping any good reward. So it's basically doing the same thing and getting the same, and just I'm receiving the same reward, in which that is a level of insanity. I'm quite sure most of you guys would have known that. That is total insanity. All right, so let me get on it. So Marcus Messiah Garvey, big up, thanks for coming in. Javon Wilson, big up. What about the Phoenix players? We might touch on a little bit of that. But let me run through this. Let me run through the articles first now. So, despite going winless after his first 4 matches in charge of the Reggae Boyz, coach Paul Hall does not paint a worried picture. Hall, who took over from Theodore Tapper Whitmore during the heights of the CONCACAF World Cup qualifiers campaign in December, has lost 3 qualifying games thus far, along with a friendly international game against Peru. However, the former Reggae Boyz, who declared that the team is now rebuilding, who declared the team is now in a rebuilding phase, insists winning is not the main focus at the moment. He insists that winning is not the main focus at this moment. So there's 2 factors in that to consider. You're going to consider the Reggae Boy fans who are prioritizing that we must win some game right now because of the World Cup, the standings in the CONCACAF region, also the FIFA ranking standards. But let's take back a backbench of things now, because we're in the rebuilding phase, and there are some aspects of the rebuilding phase that many people tend to just look past. For example, you have to factor in the importance of starting from zero. In any rebuilding phase, you have to start from zero. That's the baseline. You know where you're at. You want to get to 100, now you start making the first step. 1, 2, 3, 4. But it makes no sense you say you're starting a rebuilding process and you are at 50. So you're telling yourself that you need to add on the other 50. That's not a rebuild. I think that, as Paul Hall said, the entirety of the system and also the team needs a total restructure. That is where you can find a rebuild. And him emphasizing that and also insisting that that winning is not the main focus at the moment It encompasses many of the Reggae Boy fans. This is the second part of what I was saying. It encompass many of the Reggae Boy fans in regards to development. We're the one who keep on saying that we need to see proper development, but yet still as fans, we're the one who's also focusing on winning. No, nothing is wrong with that as a fan to focus on winning. But look at this now. We said schoolboy, there's no development in schoolboy football because the coaches are solely focusing on winning. And due to the fact that they're only focusing on winning, there's no level of development, there's no level of structure in the schoolboy football system. The teams that they don't have a system, it's just young men playing football. So we don't garner their talent, we don't furnish their talent. But guess what I want to do now, even with the national team? It's all about winning. Get that player in, because that means we're going to win the next game. Get that other player in because we're going to win when that player comes. And we've seen it. We have one of the world's most informed striker at this moment in Mikel Antonio. And we're still not winning, even though he's scoring. But we're still not winning. Why is that so? Why is that so? Why is that we're still not winning? We have one of the best. We have one of the top midfielders in the world in Ravel Morrison. We have Daniel Johnson, another quality midfielder. We have good strikers, Andre Gray. We have good wingers, Leon Bailey, Jamal Lowe. It's not that these players are not players who are underrated or anything like that. These are quality players I'm talking about. We have quality defenders, Ethan Pinnock, Mariappa. We have quality defenders. No, we have added on the addition in the likes of Greg Lay, who's a really good left back. But we're still losing. What does that mean? Why is it that we're still losing even though we brought in better players? So it's not an essence of just bringing in players. It's not that. That's not where the problem is. You could bring the most talented set of players, but if we don't have a structure in how the team plays, if we don't have a system in how the team plays, we are always going to fail. We are always going to fail. I can be wrong. I am here standing to be corrected. I definitely can be wrong. I won't say that what I'm saying is a 100% truth, and if it's not that way, it's no other way. I'm not saying that. But what I'm highlighting is how is it that we're forcing certain aspect because it suits a narrative, but it does not suit the next narrative. So, for example, we have an under 20 team that we're going to build. If we should select 30 players from 30 different leagues, 30 of the under 20 top under 20 players from 30 different leagues, and we put them in our team, there's a strong possibility, there's a 90% possibility that we won't survive. We're still going to lose games. Why? Because that is 30 different playing style coming on to play their own playing style in one system. Rather than we have our own system and those 30 players would have come into that particular system and facilitate the system, not their club system, but facilitate the system that they're playing right here. And believe it or not, football players can adapt to thousands of footballing systems. They remember it. They can retain it. So anywhere they go and they meet up in a different type of style of play, the team play a different style or system, they can adjust to that team and they normally have the adjusting period, and they can adjust to that system. But if we just select players from all over the world without any form of system, and Mr. Craig Butler always speak about the importance of system. Now, what I do understand is that when I did the interview with Mr. Speedy, he said that Coach Paul Hall brought his philosophy book where he's going to impart that philosophy onto the youth teams, and it just dwindled right down. When I went to the training session for the under 17, the under 20 boys, Paul Hall was there as well. He wasn't really heavily involved. He was just on the sideline looking while the other coaches were doing what they were doing. But he was quite keen on what was happening. So let me continue reading to the article. The Portsmouth and Coventry player, should I really? I don't necessarily need to do that. That is just the observer trying to bolster something. Okay, yeah, I should read. The ex-Portsmouth and Coventry player is aware that not winning games could lead to a call for his job. Still, he's focusing on constructing a team that will be competitive over a long period. To do that, Hall believes he cannot be overly concerned about results going his way in the early stages. And it's just like a player. For example, we are saying that Leon Bailey needs to adapt to the Premier League. It's something similar to that. It will take time for the players to adapt to his system, which means that during that adaptation process, we might lose game. There's a strong possibility that we might lose game. So it's important that we give that leeway for that system to put in place. Normally, you see a coach come in and start win games. Sometimes, what's the durability of that? What's the longevity in that? You start off really good in the early stages, but you never go over the line because there was not any ground-based systematical effort, no form of accountability per player. Those aspects of football that we need. So yes, we could bring in someone right now and winning a few games right now, and then guess what? In the long run, it's not sustained because we didn't put in the right set of players in the right place for that level of continuity. This player coming out and that player coming to fill the gap. So I think I really do like his stance that in where he's going with this. RJ PUBG said, Fox, we need a system. Owen, bless up. Jamaica LOL. Good morning, Guna. Big up. I'm doing good now, bro. How you guys are doing? How is everyone in the comment section doing? Marcus must said, when we play other people's system, it's easy to counter because the makers of those systems will know what to do and either in and outs, but do in and out. But when you got something original, it's harder to counter. That's true. Jamaica Elo said, winning these games are very important. I don't know what Paul Hall is saying. All right, so exactly. So all right, so I'm gonna return to that comment. Jamaica LOL. Up top DJ Weasel. So let me continue read. Let me get further. It is nice to try and win a game of football, but this is not about that. This is about rebuilding. It's about trying to structure the way forward. If you do not win games in football, then you will have a problem with people trusting you with their team. So it is important to win games because it feels nice. If we lose a few games in the early days, then fine. And if people say Paul Hall should go because he lost a couple games, then fine. No, he's sticking to his gun. He said, if we lose a few games in the early days, then fine. And if people say all should go because he lost a couple games, so be it. Then fine. So he's sticking to his gun. Basically, that's nice. But my job is to develop football in Jamaica and help the young players coming through. And I want to be a judge on how much I can grow Jamaica's football in the long term. So basically, Reggae Boy fans are saying we must win games now. That is what the Reggae Boys fans are saying. Reggae Boy fans are saying we have to. Coach, we must win games now. But the coach is saying, my job is to develop football in Jamaica and help the young players coming through. I want to be judged on how much I can grow Jamaican football in the long term. In the long term. But Jamaican fans, football Reggae Boy fans, were saying, no, we must win game now. If we don't win now, it means there's no improvement. If we don't win now, there's no progress. Yes, winning shows that winning is important in football. Winning is important in football. But win at what cost? We watch schoolboy football, right? Jamaica College, KC in the Manning Cup finals. JC versus KC in the Manning Cup finals. As football fans, we're going to say that these players don't learn anything. They don't garner the level of development. Why? Because the local coaches only focus on winning. But guess what the Reggae Boy fans are saying? We must win now. So we are going to beat the local coaches, specifically the schoolboy coaches, about them not developing the players. But yet still, we're going to turn to the national team and say we must win game now, in which we understand the situation that we're in right now in regards to the developmental factor. We have to restructure the program. We must design some system, put some system in place that we can say this is a long term going forward. Jamaica LOL said Paul Hall's job is not to develop players. His job is to put the best players and win games. I'm going to touch on that. Big up Shaz, massive respect. Big up Ryan LFC, big up bro. Alright, so Jamaica LOL. Paul Hall's job is not to develop players. Now, let me show you where we're going wrong with this. I want you to check out all the top teams in the world right now and the age of the players. All the best players in some of these top teams are some of the younger players. Guess why? So England is going to the World Cup with a squad, average age about 25. A lot of young players. Declan Rice, Ben White, Saka, Sterling, Kane. These guys will be the older guys in the squad. Foden, Grealish, all players in the age bracket of 20 to 25. All these players in the age bracket of 20 to 25. Now remember, if this England team would have gone to the World Cup with all these young players in 2026, in 2020, this year, 2022, in 2026, all of these players will be in their prime because they're just developing. All these players will be in their prime, which means that they stand out as a higher possibility of winning the World Cup with all these players who have the World Cup experience already. Notice most teams that win World Cup are teams that have been to either quarterfinals or semifinals. I'm not saying that it's a national team's duty to put out the young players and let them develop. But what he's saying is that his role, remember, his role is to ensure that the philosophy of the national team is passed down straight down to the under twos or under threes. So that is how it's going to develop. It's going to develop on a systematic basis. Not a basis of him taking a 15-year-old and putting in a national team. Not on that basis. On the basis of his philosophy going straight down to the under threes in Jamaica. Then now on the uprise, when he needs a player for the national team and he cannot find anyone elsewhere, he can pick from even from one of the best out of the local league of that particular position and said, okay, we can't find anyone else. You have already known the system because you have played through that system all the year, so you won't take any adaptation process. You can come and hit the ground running because we have a friendly or a match we're going to play. So in that aspect, that is the aspect of development that he's speaking about. He's not saying that take 15-year, 10-year, 18-year-olds and go and train them. He's not saying that. I'll let them play for the senior team. That's not what he's saying. Fresh God, big up. Andrew, big up. Up Military Guna. Who are the players who joined the overseas players? Bygrave, I just did a video on Atapfire Bygrave. He's one of them. There's no official announcement of it as yet. So tentatively we're going to have to wait on JFF until or less even if me get, I don't think I would be able to say. Club do that, not the national team. So hopefully what I explained a while ago, you have a better understanding. Jamaica LOL. Roger Sharp said, up Military Guna. In my opinion, development of our football has been on the back burner for too long. Give the gaffer to construct his ideas, and that's exactly what I'm saying. And his ideas will pass down straight down to even the youngest Jamaican player. And that philosophy, that ideology can string and go straight to the national team. And we have one philosophy, one system, one ideology in the country of how we play football, which makes it far, far easier to garner talent for the national team, even from the local squad. And then now, with that development, we can find out that we have more players going overseas to play football because the developmental structure would have started from the grassroots rather than we waiting on these players to hit the heights at 17, 18. Let me finish reading now. Okay, he said, our main focus at the present is to look at a pool of players available to him and try to build a strong unit. Last week, there was a 3-day local training camp with 18 players from Hull, which from which Hall will select the remaining players for his final 23-man squad for the upcoming World Cup qualifiers. 16 players have already been named to the squad. The coach has taken special interest into I just said it a while ago. Andres Marcel Gill's under 20 team. It is good to get players back from to get back players. I do apologize. Yes, it is good. It is good to get players back together and help them to understand the philosophy a bit more. And the more they get familiar as a group, then we will see if we can win some games. But it is not about me winning games in the early days. It is about having longevity, a future, a setting, a foundation that we can grow from here and grow with some of these players. The Reggae Boyz. Okay, let me see if that's necessary. The Reggae Boyz face El Salvador in National Stadium on Thursday, then Canada away on the 27th after returning home of their last qualifiers game. All admits that he would like to win all 3 games, but even if he fails to get the desired result, he's certain there will be positive he can take away and move forward. So this is what Paul Hall said, I am looking for a squad of people who can try to win these games first and foremost. That is why we have senior 16 players. So remember now, people. He said that is the reason why he has that senior set of players with the team right now. That 16 players encompass of the big names, the Ravel Morrison, the Leon Bayliss, the Andre Grace, and all these guys. So he said that he sorted out that aspect. I'm looking for a squad. Okay, so it's nice to win games. I just read that a while ago. For a 20-odd-year-old, I'm reading. Okay. I just missed the point where I'm at. Okay, yeah, good. The Reggae Boyz face El Salvador National Stadium when they face Canada away on the 27th as well before returning for the last game against Honduras. All admits would like to win all 3 games, yes, and certainly will be positive takeaway from forward. I'm looking forward for a squad of people who can win the first game, first and foremost, 16 players. Good. It is nice to win a game of football, but you can win in other areas. If you said we lost against Costa Rica, we didn't lose because we found Richard King, a 20-year-old who has undoubted potential. So that is a win for me. That is where the wins are right now. So basically saying most of the wins that we can get right now are identifying players who can take us to the next level. For 20 odd years, we have been going nowhere, and now we want to go further ahead. So yes, we want to win games, but we got to know what is important. We need to draw a line and make sure that we see improvements he had. So those are the final takes from Paul Hall. Let me see. Good. So those are Paul Hall final takes on the entirety of the situation. Patrick Hooley said, high honor to you, military. Big up, Patrick. Massive respect. Hopefully you're doing good, bro. Fresh God said, continue. 42 people live on the live. 22 likes. Let's get it up. Jamaica LOL says, Guna, every game that play on FIFA date is very important to every country right now to how football is going. That is true. That is so true, Jamaica LOL. Now, remember this. I will not say that the games that are coming up are not important, because we have to factor in we have to factor in the World Cup the FIFA ranking and also the CONCACAF ranking. But listen to this now. What if we said, okay, because those games are so important, we don't think about development. Let's just show some players and ensure that these players, let's pick the best players, Jamaica LOL, and put them out there. And hopefully they can garner the results or garner the wins. Hopefully. We still don't implement a system. We still don't implement a style of play. We still don't set up the team for longevity, which means that We still don't have a proper approach to the games. We still don't have a proper approach to the games. We're just thinking about the next win. Just as per schoolboy football, thinking about the next win without proper development. Then we turn around and say the schoolboy footballers did not develop because the development wasn't a factor for them. Then now we are here saying that we have to develop the national team. The national team must develop. If we're going to select some players, we're going to select some players in certain category of their age, the age category, for our particular positions on the pitch, so we can have that level of longevity. So we consistently focusing on winning the next game without proper putting things in place, putting proper measures in place. What is the longevity in that? So we win the next. Listen, all right, let me give you another example. We win the next couple of games, right? We win the next 3 games without putting a system, without applying the right things that we need to go forward. You know what's going to happen? There's no futuristic movement for that. We're going to always be in that limbo. Win a few games, then we lose again. We'll win a few games, then we lose again. Because, as you see, the last part of the article, for 20 years, we're not going anywhere. Because we're doing the same thing over and over again. It's like a drug. We want the quick fix. We consistently want the quick fix. It's like a drug. We must get the quick fix, and when we get the quick fix now, then we'll be better. And really and truly, we won't get better. So we tell ourselves that. This is what we tell ourselves. Before Mikel Antonio come to live for Jamaica, we tell ourselves this. Imagine Mikel Antonio, Leon Bailey, Bob Reed or Jamal Lowe, or even Demar Gray on the front line, leading the line for Jamaica. But guess what? This is what happened. We still have the same old midfield. We still have the same midfield. We still have the same midfield. We still have the same defenders. Playing the old style mentality. Nothing in place. How we're going to get the ball to the striker. How the midfielder is going to operate. Because there's no system. Quality players. These are quality. I'm talking about quality players, right? Let me show you. The last game that we played, we had a lot more possession of the ball. We look a lot better. But we still struggle in progressing the ball, breaking the line on all those aspects. We couldn't defend. We still end up lose the game. Guess why? We had a better player. We had better players on the pitch, man for man. We played better, but we still couldn't win. We still couldn't find the back of the net. Reason being, we have no system. We have no style of play. So until we implement those things in which that would be the guideline of where we're going and how we want to reach there, it makes no sense. We try to fast track and continue on the drug of quick fix. Because there's a next game coming. We have to win the next game. So these games right now would be perfect preparation for the Nation League coming up. The perfect preparation for the Nation League coming up. I can be wrong. It's my opinion. It's what I think. But if you think otherwise, there's no problem if you tell me that you believe otherwise. Johnny Moore, big up. Jamaica LOL, that's exactly why we have been doing the same thing for 20 years, and now it's because of this mentality. Ajamor, of course we need to focus on building players. It's important. Andrew 55, big up Andrew. We need Anthony Grant to show young DMs how you should keep a midfield steady. Now, it's not a must that he can be a coach, but definitely if the young DMs would sit and watch him and how he plays, I do think that there's a lot they can learn from him. But we also remember that we also have Kevin Stewart, who's also a central defensive midfielder, who the young players can learn from us as well. Paul Hall initiative is a move away from players over the age of 30. That's the biggest initiative Paul Hall is trying. Once you're over 30, he's moving away from you, so he's trying to cut the age of the squad. You will see players of that age in the squad, but bear in mind, these players are like captain, vice captain, and those aspects. They hold those roles. But he could not just throw away the entirety of the World Cup qualifiers team, because you need that level of continuity going forward. Johnny said, nonsense. I have the big up. Oh, go on, me there, bro. Storm Changer said, we hire Paul Hall to be a coach, and he's doing his job right now. I believe we should allow him the opportunity to do what needed to be done a long time ago. Yes, definitely agree. Marcus Gav said the school should have started development. The schools with the most technical players are the true champions. True. Jamaica LSL. If we have a 16-year-old and he is ready put on the field, all I want Paul to do put out the best team. Yes, the best team don't necessarily mean the best names. That's the thing. The best team don't necessarily mean the best names. So, for example, you put a Lionel Messi in a Barcelona system, he shines. Because the system revolves around Lionel Messi. You put a Lionel Messi in a PSG system, yes, he shines, but not at his best potential. Not at his best potential. Because it has to do with the system. You have some top players out there who cannot operate in certain systems because they don't get the opportunity to play at their best. And that's just how football is. So not because he's the best player right there necessarily means that he'll be the best player for that particular system. So let me give you an example. This example that I'm going to give you is my personal opinion. We have two players right now, two of the world's most sorted players. Kylian Mbappe, Erling Haaland. One is primed to go to Real Madrid. One is primed to go to Barcelona. Just saying. I think Erling Haaland is actually heading towards Man City right now. This is the situation. Barcelona and Madrid. Madrid plays a more transitional football than Barcelona. Barcelona play with a lot of possession. A player like Kylian Mbappe is a very technical player. He can come deep, he can link up with the midfield, he can support the midfield. Also, he can play as a lone striker. Now, with Kylian Mbappe, he would be a perfect suited for a Barcelona team. Support, play as a false nine, play as the out and out number 9, play as centre forward, the counter-attacking centre forward. He can play in so much different roles because he has that versatility based off his technical ability. Now, let's look at Erling Haaland. Who's a more player on the end product? He's always on the end product of stuff. That is the type of player. He's more dangerous inside of the box than anywhere on the pitch. Most of his goals are scored inside of the box. Now look at this now. When you put Erling Haaland in a Barcelona team, who will have a lot of the possession, but guess what Barcelona requires? Even a Manchester City who is linked with. It is required of a player who is going to come in the central area, the central zone, to support the midfielders and allow the wingers to run in behind. That is how both Barcelona and Manchester system sets up based off what Pep Guardiola. Maybe Xavi can tweak it a little bit, but that's their identity. They need a striker who can come deep. Guess what? Have you ever seen Erling Haaland controlling the ball coming deep? That's just it. He would not fit, from my personal opinion, he would not fit a Manchester system or even a Barcelona system because of the type of player that he is. Erling Haaland is a transitional player, not a build-up player. He's not a player that builds up play and get involved with the midfielders. He's not that type of player. He wants to be on the final product. But as a Barcelona team, you're required to be in the final third when we have possession of the ball and also come into the midfield area. But as I said, it's my opinion. It's what I think. I can be wrong. Can you imagine? Let me tell you the perfect player who would definitely suit a Manchester City. A player like Harry Kane who can come deep, support the midfielders, and also on the final end of product, scoring goals. That would be a dangerous combination, and that would be a dangerous player for Manchester City because it would suit them. His style of play would suit how Manchester City play. Manchester City don't even use out and out number 9. All right, so let me run through some of these comments before I go because I'm over 30 minutes. Didn't plan to stay long. Dwayne Bligen said, Real 9 said the national team should not be used for development. It's not the team itself, it's the philosophy. Dwayne Bligen said winning is important but not essential for the last 3 games. We need to rebuild and we need to start now. Agree. We are already out of the World Cup. Yes, people are going to worry about FIFA rankings. We still have the Nation Leagues coming up. That we can use the Nation League. If we can get ourselves together right now, putting those systems in place from now, going to the Nation League, we might have a team who is actually prepared to play in the Nation League. Rather than We just mix matching all, and even when we're close in Nation League, we still don't even have a steady starting lineup. We still don't have a system put in place. In which the Nation League will also be another aspect in which we're trying to achieve something where we don't even deserve. I can be wrong. Correct me if I'm right. Going to put it in the comment section. I have no problem doing so. Storm Changer said, I agree with him a little. Let Paul Hard do his job. This is the part Jamaican squad need to be going to on for some time now. We need a strategy. We need a style of play. We need development in our players. Rob Smith said, Real, we have to create a system and a plan. We don't have the privilege of 100 academy in our country. That is so true. We have to bypass that aspect of it. We have to bypass that aspect of it. Ajahn Moore said, football is much more than just putting out your 11 best players. We need to do we need to sort out the style of play. We can already see the difference with Paul Hall as a coach, even though we lost the last game set of qualifiers. Sheridan Loban said, good morning, bro. I believe that Hall knows what he's doing. I hope that we with the fans can be patient and trust the process. That word there, trust the process. Trust the process. When Mikel Arteta came in, many people, because we lose so much game in the early stages, many people say, get him out now because we need to win. No, we have to win now. We have to get in the top 4. No, we have to get into Europe. No, if we don't get into Europe, no, our top 4, no, the club is done. That is it. That is the common sense. That is the common sense that we go by. But guess what? Mikel Arteta said, hey, I know you want to win now, but guess what? Trust the process. Trust the process. Trust the process. That's what I'm saying. We might not win games immediately, but in the long game, in the long term, we're building a team who's going to compete at the highest level. Not just win a few games right now, but compete at the highest level. Let me use Manchester United for an example. Manchester United, in recent times, saw the best players. One of the best midfielder, one of the best striker, one of the best attacker. When Cristiano Ronaldo came to Manchester United team, all of the Manchester United fans that I know saying that they're going to challenge for the league. They have so much good players, but because they don't have a system or style of play, they cannot play consistent. You cannot listen. Individually, they have players who can win them the game. The Ronaldo, which is alien. That guy's alien. The Bruno let me call it ordinary players them. The Bruno Fernandes, the Rashford, even Greenwood was there as well. Sancho, the Maguires, Varane, David De Gea, Alex Telles, Wanda Saka, Donald, Fred, McTominay. These aren't the worst players in the world. I'm telling you, these aren't the worst players in the world. These are some good players. Paul Pogba. But because the system that they have, they don't know. Because they don't have a system of play, a style of play, an identity, they cannot string consistent games together. They cannot string consistent performance together. As much as Arsenal has a team, we don't have no big star name. We have no star name player in our squad. None. As what Manchester United has. We have none. All the top 3 teams in the world in English Premier League right now, they have an identity, they have a style of play, and they try to be consistent, and they're consistent with it. If a player is out, another player can come in and fill that spot and give the same level of performance. That is Manchester City, Liverpool, and Chelsea. The other teams, all right, let me give you an example of a team who have a style of play and a system but cannot garner the result because of quality. That is Brighton. They cannot get maximum result because of quality. They do have a system and style of play. So that is where quality really will be a deciding factor. But all I'm saying is this. We cannot continue saying that get this player in, get that player in, and we'll be okay. No, it's not like that. It's not like that. And it's not get this player in, get that player in, and then start out a system. It's not like that. It makes no sense. You get all the players in, then you're trying to build a system. No, build a system first. Then no, when you're recruiting, you recruit based on the system. You have this type of system. Can these players that you're bringing in be good players in that system? Can these players play well in that system? It boils down to that. Right at this moment, Mikel Antonio is so good in Reggae Boyz team because of how we play Similar to how West Ham play. A transitional counter-attacking football. A lot of time we're sitting deep. Then we break on the press. Mikel Antonio, when he's in the Premier League, many times he's sitting deep and break on the press. So it looks good in both systems. It looks really, really... It looks really, really important. So he's going to look good because of the system. So you have to start off with having the system first. You have the idea, the philosophy that this is how we're going to play. Then now he said, okay, let me pick from here. That player can fit this system. That player can fit our system. That player can fit our system. Then now we build on that. That player is better than this player we have right now. So let's use him. And he can fit the system. He can play in that position to fit the system. Then now we have an identity. So even the players that are coming in, even the players that are new to the system, due to the fact that they play similar to how we play, it makes it the adaptable period way more easier. So even if he played the first game and doesn't have a good game, you can say even by the third game, he'll be in top form because he already plays similar to that type of system. So let me give you an example. Odegaard was a good Arsenal player, really good technical player. Manchester City system kind of slightly different from Arsenal system. But guess what? After 2 or 3 games, it'll be easy for him to adapt because he plays similar system because Arsenal and Man City play similar systems. Yes, the quality of player that Man City has are superior, but guess what? The system is so similar that the adaptation period will be less. Look at this now. The last game that we played, we had 88%. We had over 60% possession in the last game that we played. Never happened before. But look at the players that we have. We have Ravel Morrison on the pitch, Kevin Stewart, Ethan Pinnock. Was Ethan Pinnock there? Can't remember. But anyways, we have some quality players on the pitch, specifically in the midfield. Some good technical players. Now, it was difficult for Kevin Stewart to really kick on the first game because we weren't playing structure. He's a good midfielder, but we weren't playing with any structure. So it took him a while to adapt. But at the end of the game, Kevin Stewart completed the game with 100% passing accuracy. He made like about 20 passes at 100% passing accuracy. You can't say that's a player. And his passes are not to the defenders. His passes are actually inside of the channels. No. Imagine if we had a system and we put these players, these technically gifted players, in that system, how better, or way better would be, or significantly better would be. So, Kevin Stewart, even Ravel Morrison, known that Kevin Stewart is right there, he's to his left. He knows that once the ball is over to the left, under the left back, Kevin Stewart will fetch. And he knows that he should go to the channel in the right-hand side because that is the system. He should dart to the channel on the right-hand side. The left back would actually overlap, and the left midfielder would actually fall inside the midfield position. So we kind of create an overload over to the left-hand side. Understanding those systems, left back knows that he can drive, bringing the right back with him, or allowing the midfielder to cut inside. Rather than we just playing football because we have the possession of the ball and we see a person, we see the person, and we can just pass the ball to that person. But no typical or no structure in advancing the ball into the danger third, into the final third. So that is the importance of having a system first, then you build on that. Not just picking a player from there, and then putting them in. And then said, okay, let's build a system now. That is kind of backward. That's not how it is. Most of the national teams already have a system, so they select players who are performing well. Let me show you. You have many countries who have players who are performing well, and they don't even call those players because they know that player would particularly not facilitate or even play better in that system because of how they play and their style of play. That's just football. But let me cut through some of these questions. Yes, real 9, get a system, then get the players to facilitate the system. Sheridan Loban said, patience, agree. Jamaica LOL said, Guna, one question. Anyone can go to the sale now, like how the country open up? Yes, Jamaica LOL. Anyone, everyone, possible, even me. Everyone. Kwani, big up Kwani. After Paul Hall loses these games, he should depart with the entire JFF. Okay. Just look at the players selected for Jamaica. How can you build with these players when a few years time you will not know what will become of them? You notice the age of the squad. You notice how he's cutting the age of the squad. The reason for that is this. I didn't want to go into this now. The reason for that is this. If Paul had cut age of the squad to most of the players being 23, 22 years old, the direction that he's going with that is this. These players are playing quality football to make it to the national team. There's a strong possibility that these are the same players who will be playing in better leagues at a higher level. And these are the young players, which means that they can play, they can also participate in the next upcoming World Cup qualifiers. Our next World Cup. Now that gives them a leeway to track the progress of the players rather than putting a 28-year-old player in the squad right now. And yes, he's tracking the process of the player, but by the next World Cup qualifiers, that player is 32, 33, or in that high 30s, in which you're trying to move away from using the older players. You can imagine a World Cup qualifier squad and the youngest player in the squad is 25. That don't sit well. All the top teams right now have pretty much young players. Johnny Moore said, boy, I look like some man just born for chat nonsense without even thinking about what they're saying. So you go. Adrian France said, talk to you, daddy. Real Nine said, get a system, then get players to fit the system. Agree. Lensley Blake said, any coach of Jamaica national senior team who says that winning is not the primary objective at the present time does not know what is required, then should be gotten rid of immediately. See, we want the wins now. We want the wins now. And then what after the wins? And even if we bring in the best players and don't get the win, then what? Because we won't have a system. We won't have a structure. All we're going to do is getting rid of managers. We'll skip that manager, kick away that manager, don't that manager. That coach gone, and guess what? We still don't implement a system. We still don't have a style of play. And we can't win game consistently. We win one game, we lose 2 games. We win 2 games, we lose 4 games. We have to move away from that. Anyways, people, I think I've lamented long enough. Lamented long enough. Let me see. It's quite a few. There's quite a few of you guys in the comment section. 68. Guys, smash the like button, people. Phil Jones said, Joey Desert and Stuart, we need going forward. Introvert Ardo said, people here talking like Jamaica is Brazil. Jamaica is a joke in football east, you know. Johnny Moore said, football no work, so youth. Everything in life takes time. 100%. Everything takes time. Nothing gonna happen just. You're not get up tomorrow. Alright. Can you imagine, Mr. You go on, I want $1 million. I'm wanting no. I'm expect to get it now. What me do for get $1 million? How me go reach $1 million? Them things that I talk about. Everything takes time. Everything's a process, and you have to make the first step. You have to make the first step. Chevron Given said, if he doesn't see winning as a priority, then we're doomed. At this point, winning must be one of the main priorities while implementing his style. No, he's not saying that winning. He's not saying that we should not win games, you know. But if he's saying that if we consistently focus on the next quick fix is the next win, without putting any proper system in place, we will always be failure. For 20 odd years, the coach said for 20 odd years, we have been failing. For 20 odd years, we have been failing. 20 odd years, people. And it's the same thing from 98. See that Kwani said from 98 till now, Jamaica bill, and all know you can't get an outcome. The intention is not to use national team for development, and that caused a lot of problem. That is, Kwani, no one is going to use national team for development. We're saying we're going to develop a system, then we start implementing the players. So Siobhan Givens, we are focusing on the games that we have to play right now. What happened then? What happened later? Winning is the goal. But we have to move toward, we have to put certain things in place. So what he's saying is that tamper yourself. Do not focus on only winning. We have to look at other aspects of the game as well. Because if we don't look on other aspects, there will be no development. We're going to focus on the scoreline rather than how the team plays. Leslie King Blake said, cutting the age of the squad at the expense of winning is pure stupidity. All of Paul Hall's decision thus far is support of speed showcasing players for sale. Use the friendly games for building a structure. How much friendly games will there be? Givens, how much friendly games will we have? Remember now, we're not England who can facilitate friendlies on a regular basis. We're not Barcelona, we're not France or these European countries who have that abundance of money. I'm not saying that we're broke, but we don't have that abundance of money to flourish a lot of friendlies. Paul never mentioned winning in any of his entire interview, only development. I think that let me bring it back, let me show you. That means you weren't listening. You weren't listening then, man. Let me bring it back and show you. Okay, so hopefully you can see this. He said, I am looking for a squad of people who can try to win this game first and foremost. Hopefully you can see it. It is the second paragraph. Look at the second paragraph, Kwani. Look at the second paragraph. I am looking for a squad of people who can try to win these games first and foremost. That is why we have the senior 16 players. That is the reason why we have the senior 16 players. So that is where the continuity comes in place. That is where the continuity comes in place. Then now, we try to implement our other and some other players where we know that in regards to the age, cut the age of the squad using the other players. The other, it would be like 8 players. That'd be like 8 players. The other 8 players. Jamaica LOL said, if we don't win the last 3 games, the local players will be in trouble for next 2 years because of the ranking. Remember, I'm showing you guys what he's saying here. Remember, now, people, we have 16 of the players that have been a part of the qualifiers from the beginning. What more can be done right now? You think we should go out and get some other players and put into the squad? Of a squad of players who still don't even understand what they want to do on the pitch. It's not saying that the players are bad. Just not saying that we don't have a style of play, we don't have a system. So if we're going to even get Demargre right now, if Demargre should come to the team right at this moment, what good is he going to do when you don't have a system, if you don't have a style of play? How can he impact the team? Kwani said, so why using these JPL players who are not up to the standard? Okay, so that is the problem. The problem is the JPL players. So you're having a problem with the JPL players. Listen. Understand this. I'm not saying that JPL players. Alright, you know what? Kwani, I'm going to ask you a question. Would you say Richard King is up to the standard? Do you have a problem with Richard King in the squad? I'm going to ask you that. Would you say Richard King is up to the standard? I'm asking you that question. Please tell me. Let me know. Because I'm going to answer that question for you. So answer in the comment section right now if you think that Richard King is up to the standard. And be mindful of how you answer that question. The reason I said be mindful of how you answer that question is this. If you said no, Richard King is not up to the standard, fine. Fine by you. But from the last performance that we have seen of Richard King, we have realized he looks a lot better than even some of the players that we have in the squad for years. And he's 20 years old. And he's 20 years old. Now, let me tell you this. Where is Richard King playing? In the Jamaica Premier League. In the Jamaica Premier League. And for someone as myself, Okay, so Kwan said Richard King is not up to the standard. He has some talent, but has a far way to go. All right, fine. I understand that. Now, the question is, who do we have at this moment? Give me 4 defenders, 4 Reggae Boyz at this moment that you would say is up to the standard. Four of them. I just need 4 of them. Siobhan Given said, so far he proves he deserves to be there. So far he proves, of course. I'm not lying. Richard King, let me be honest. Richard King came into the team. Richard King was playing alongside Damian Lowe. And Richard King looked a lot better than Damian Lowe in that game. He looked a lot better than Damian Lowe in that game. I'm not gonna be afraid. It is facts. It is facts. He looked a lot better than a senior player. He looked calmer, looked more composed. He looks way more intelligent. He's not that rash. And we have to talk it as it is. And where does Richard King play? That is the thing. Richard King is not the only good defender. Okay, Kwani said only Pinnock ready. Fine. If you only see Pinnock as the only ready player, and I can bet you, with the first game that Ethan Pinnock plays for the Jamaica team against the USA, he was skinned alive on the byline, and we can see the goal from that. And one. Sound back? Are you hearing me back now? Are you hearing me back? I did my arm kind of pull out the mic. Sorry about that. Sorry about that. My arm pull out the mic. Yeah, the mic. The mic was out. The King. Okay, so King going to be a great, especially when you have Pinnock helping in his development. Yes, he has the potential. No sound for 5 minutes. Wow, 5 minutes. I don't think so long. I don't think it was that long. I hope it was not that long. Equipment. Yeah. Yeah. So as I was saying is that I never realized. I didn't even realize. And what I was saying is that it's tough to say that these players are not good, or in the same sense, you're going to say that the JPL players are not good. But when you look around, we see a JPL player who came to the squad who look a lot better than some of these. Will look a lot better than some of these players who are playing overseas. Ian Miller said JPL players up to the world just need a chance to show how good they are. Ian Miller. I do see a lot of talents in the JPL, but as you know, exposure. One of the key things, one of the key factors I always realize in football. I saw an interview I read an interview done by Khadija Shah, and this is the last thing I'm going to say before, because I'm closing off now, folks. I have to go right now. This is the last thing I want to say. Khadija Shah said she know other strikers in Jamaica, female strikers in Jamaica who are better than her, but the only difference with her and those persons were the opportunity. The opportunity was a big factor, and that is what she said. Andrew Down said, Cardell Benbow deserve a recall. Big baller. Quality baller, yes. Good baller. But Daniel Green, I wicked man right now. I'm happy that Atterfry Bygrave got his call as well. I'm really happy that Atterfry Bygrave got his call. Seymour Robert said, why we call up young JPL players, but we can't call up young English-based players and cap them? Because a lot of those players are wavering on the idea of playing for England. That is why it's easier to call a young local player to the squad rather than a young player overseas. And I can say 100%. I've spoken to a few of the players, and they are still wavering. They're still wondering. It's a if and but. And remember that we need to get the fixtures on the way, so we have to do something right away. So in the event, we're waiting on a Kid R to make his decision. In the same sense, Nation League coming up, Under 20 coming up, and all these competitions are coming up. What do? We wait until the last minute to send in the fixtures or send in the squad to CONCACAF before and because we're waiting on confirmation from one player. We can't do that. Kwani said, you see your hype up Junior Flemings that is bigger than USL, and he went to Europe and is fighting to get a spot in the reserve. I mean, he's playing consistent football in the reserve team, Kwani. He actually scored another goal, I think last Friday. He's playing consistent. Listen, Junior Flemings get a lot of stick. We all hope that he does well. We all hope that Junior Flemings does well. We can beat the players so much, but when we have to respect the player integrity regards to him getting the opportunity. Richard Stewart said Jamaica just needs some pro license coaches, and will produce some top talents. I agree. We have a few now, and I can see the coaching education is becoming a factor now. All right, so people, I'm gone over the hour mark. I think that is it for me. Professional pro club said, so why these professional players from the best league in the world, English league, so hard to learn a system? Remember now, every team has their own philosophy. So if you're from a youth academy, if you're from the English if you're from Arsenal academy, you learn that the Arsenal way of playing from your youth, from your 2, 3, 4, 5 years old, until you start playing some senior football. When you make a transition from an Arsenal club and you go to a Burnley club, where it's a total different style of play, you have to adapt. You won't get it right away, because you were drilled to adapt to that style of play. It's not that easy. That is the reason why Thiago Alcantara came from Germany as one of the best midfielders in the world at the point in time. Came from Bayern Munich. Came into Liverpool squad, and he struggled. He really, really struggled. And he's one of the best midfielders in the world. But he struggled. That is the truth. Because he had to adapt to a different system. And we're talking about a world-class talent. We are talking about a world-class talent going to a top-class club. And he struggled. Look at it now. He went into the squad. Thiago Alcantara is a way more gifted and technical player than Henderson. Way more. But guess what? Henderson plays a lot better in the Liverpool squad at that point in time than Alcantara. Guess why? Because Henderson fits the system. That is just the truth. Henderson fits the system. So it doesn't matter how talented you are. If you don't fit the system, you're going to struggle. You will struggle. And that is a fact. You will struggle. That is a fact. You will struggle if you don't. Leon Bailey is a talented player, and he's struggling to fit in the Aston Villa system. Not saying that he will not, but he's struggling because he needs time to adapt to understand the system. We have seen it happen over and over again. Kai Havertz. It happened with Kai Havertz. He struggled to learn the Chelsea way of playing. Timo Werner, he struggled to learn the Chelsea way of playing. Lukaku was in Italy. Top striker in Italy. Doing bits. Comes back in Chelsea team, struggles. That is the importance of having a system. Then now you pick players who are suited to that system. Not just pick any player. So that means Jamaica have a system then. That's why they are struggling to adjust to. No, we don't have any. So we cannot adjust. Karoom. Bygrave got the call up. Big up Luton Fire. Massive respect. People. Lindsay Blake said, there are 5 quality players that have been stated their intentions to play for Jamaica and have not been contacted. Stop the lies. What lies? I never said that JFF don't contact them. And I never said that JFF didn't contact them. I never tell a lie a while ago. I only said that it's harder to get these players overseas that are in England. than to get the local players. And the reason for that is most of these players are more so interested in playing for England than Jamaica. That is why it's harder. I'm not saying that no players are not interested in playing for Jamaica. Yes, because I do know a player that is quite interested to play for Jamaica. Let me see if I can find him. I don't remember his name. Dimitri Mitchell. Yes, he's playing for Iberdian. I think he's playing for Iberdian. He's a right back, I believe. Talented. I think he's about 24. Young guy. And he's interested in playing for Jamaica. He said it. I reported it. He said it in an interview. And I also reported it. So I'm not saying that there's no one. Have JFF contacted him? I don't know. So I'm not telling any lies. I am not picking up for a JFF. Every time players play in the JPL and transition to overseas, they are not good again according to JFF and some fans, and the rest who are still here always getting the hype that they are better. Professor says, could it be that the coach not very effective in conveying his system? Professional, I don't think the coach can really implement a system in such a short time span. You can see differences, but I don't think the system itself would be solidified, because remember, we have most of these players who are actually mentally structured to the previous system of the long ball, kick and run down. And that is just the harsh reality. Anyways, people, I have to go now. Definitely have to go now. Time catch up on me. Thank you very much for tuning in, people. A lot of respect. Thank you all for coming out and watching the video. I would really appreciate it if you guys hit the like button. If you're here for the first time as well, I will definitely appreciate it if you guys also hit the subscribe button. Big up Coach Lambert. Massive respect. You know, so just a close off Lambert. Everton Jackson said Paul Hall is on right track. According to Mr. Speed, Paul Hall has put together a philosophy document which is being studied by the technical committee. This is farther than we have ever gone. Further than we ever gone. Luton Fire said we need Dimitri Mitchell and Tyreek Mitchell. No, if we are building. It is important that we bring in some of these players, specifically at that young age. Tyreek Mitchell, is it Rolando Henry? I think Rolando Henry at Brentford, another good player. These young players, but the thing is not contacting these young players and getting the yes is a difficult aspect. I'm not saying that they don't. I'm not saying that these players are not interested. I'm just saying that getting the yes from these players are quite difficult. So, people, thank you very much for tuning in. Hopefully, guys, if you're just joining, you're going to have to do the playback. I do apologize. I have to go now. Over an hour, and I didn't even plan to say an hour. I planned half an hour. But anyways, people, thank you, guys. Hopefully, guys, have a good day. It's a nice Monday. A nice Monday morning. Almost midday now. I wanted to do a JPL watch along, but I won't be able to do it today because I have a lot of business to go and take care of on the road. So, people, it has been nice speaking to you guys. Have a good day, people. Until next time, hit the like button, people, before you go. Hit the subscribe button as well, and let the show grow grow. And let's grow the community together. Until next time, people. Military Guna TV. We are out. Boom.